All right, so some people might have been aware of the fact that Rogue has started selling a thing they call the bench prop for the Monster Series lights. So Brandon Campbell had come up with this. He worked with a guy and they developed this. It's basically a cross member that goes behind, and it's got a little adjustable clamp with UHMW pieces that holds the bench. And what that does is it does a couple things. One, it provides a backstop for the bench so your leg drive doesn't move the bench, which isn't usually a big problem if you have rubber feet. But the big thing is that it centers the bench in the rack so that when you set the bench up, you're always dead in the center, so you don't have to worry about being a little out of balance with the bar or anything like that. And I thought, that's kind of a cool idea because, it is kind of hard, especially if you've got a rack that's not bolted down and it moves like this one. This is a 390F. And so if you're racking weights and stuff, the thing shifts just a little bit. So it's never sitting, you can see it's not sitting square on my platform right here. And so I don't have any defined marks where I can set the bench and know that it's square to the rack. Trouble is that Monster bench prop, one, it's $165. Two, it only works on the Monster Series unless you have the, you can kind of make it work on Monster Lite, but you have to have either a 6-post rack or back feet. And on a flat foot regular Monster Lite like this, it's just not gonna happen. You're gonna have to spend several $100s to get that thing set up, and then it's kind of useless for other things. It's just a one-use deal. So one of my recent acquisitions here is this Titan Fitness foot plate for leg presses. So it goes with the lever arms, right? And I discovered that I don't know if this is going to come through on camera or not, but in addition to the 3 holes that exist right here for attaching it in the center, it also has 2 outboard holes right here and in here. So if you actually just lay this on the ground in its furthest back setting, assuming you have either a 390F or probably an X3 flat foot, you can ram a hitch pin in here, and now this is sitting back rear of the upright by a few inches, and it's attached to the rack. So now we've got our backstop in terms of where the bench goes, and it also, because it's a flat surface and it's square to here, if both ends of these feet are touching, that means we know we're square this way, right? We don't have the ass end of the bench cocked this direction or that direction, because we know we have 2 touch points here. So even if the rack is off center to one direction, we know that the bench is a perfect 90 degree to the plane that you're going to be benching in. Then to provide the spacing for each side, all I did was, I've got these chunks of wood. These are 4x4, it's just stuff I had handy. And I just cut them. I measured the length here, and then you just figure out, you take your total length minus the width of the foot that you're going to be using, and that gives you a total gap length, and then you just cut that in, to 2 pieces, and now you've got spacers. So I sit the bench in here, and I know I'm centered between the 2 posts. So with this, I actually, it's touching the bolt, so you would measure from the bolt in this case. The other, just last second thing to mention with this is on these Rogue benches, and probably with other people's benches, you have 2 legs that are not exactly the same. So on one side, the leg is very up and down. The other side, the leg cocks out further. You're going to want the more horizontal leg up. That way you can have the bench further and deeper into the rack. If you've got that cocked out leg on this side, then it's going to shift the whole bench out this way. But you know, at this point you can see that I have the bench perfectly. I mean, I can have my head way further. It's actually behind the rack behind the uprights by probably 2-3 inches. So plenty of room to get into a comfortable bench position with your head supported. And yeah, that's a cheap, easy way to do it. And you get to use a multi-purpose piece of equipment, and this gives it a place to live. So it goes in and out in 2 seconds. You don't have to worry about bolting anything in and screwing with all that stuff. It's all good.